Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we are from Group 20 are going to present about the genetic modification in plant under the division of Bioscience Technology. This is our group members and here is the table content regarding our presentation topic for today. I'm Nur Aisha binti Ibrahim with metric numbers 2001628. Now I would like to explain the introduction of GMOs. First of all, what is GMO? GMO stands for genetically modified organism. Generally, GMO is an organism or microorganism whose genetic material has been altered to contain a segment of DNA from another organism. GMOs are created and patented by Biotech and Agriculture Corporation that have developed GMO commodity crops such as corn, soy, sugar, beets, canola, cotton, and alfalfa. In addition, most GMO currently on the market are transgenic. This little picture shows that the example of transgenic plant on agrobacterium to produce plant with new traits. Next, I would like to proceed to the history of GMOs. Since 1980s, this GMO technology has been used extensively in the lab by researchers for countless purposes in order to make copies of genes or proteins, to determine genes function, to study genes expression patterns, and to create models for human diseases. Besides, in 2019, the USDA introduced in term bioengineered as another term to refer to GMOs. Other than that, man has been GM food crops through selective breeding since we moved from hunting and gathering to agriculture over 10,000 years ago. For the additional information, GMOs are banned or restricted in over 60 countries because GMO give negative impact on the whole ecosystem where GM crops could breed with other plants which will spread the modified genes into other populations. Let's continue this presentation with the technique on how genetics is modified. These are the basic steps making GM in plant. Alright, first of all, the step is the researchers. Firstly, the researchers identify the traits of interest. Traits of interest is referred to the traits that we need. Second step, the researchers isolate the genetic traits of interest. Then the third step is that process to insert the desired traits into the new genomes. And the last step is that the step of growing GMO in growth chambers. Alright, I would like to call upon the next presenter who is Ikwan to present about the literature review.
Action GMOs. So my name is Ikwan Muhammad Izam and my ID is U2001245. So now let's move on to the next section, which is the literature review. So from our finding and studies, which is here from Melvin, she stated that the gene keeps growing. Most major crop, which is some example here are corns, soybean, and wheat, which are the main component of our daily food, presently are declining. All the demand is keep growing. Global population keep rising as this manage to keep up to its demand. So as for that, this three scholar argues that the GMO that can tolerate with herbicide and insecticide, which are both play an important role on crops to keep the plant grows without being infested by insects. So they also argue that the global climate change contribute to the dependency of human on GMOs. Move on to the next slide. We find that Malaysia is rich in biodiversity. So the speech that was given by Badawi, he stated that biodiversity is very important in Malaysia as it been a source of important raw materials in agriculture and medicine, which may help in our economic gain. So as for that, there is a real need to engage in this biotechnological studies and bioengineering to avoid losing with other countries in the region. So in considering this opportunity, we need the local to be more aware and stronger policy from the government as GMO can be identified as a appropriate component to be industrialized by the nations. So now let's move on to the next sections.
Okay, thank you, Ikhwan. My name is Amizla Kabiti Isam. I will present about the GMO in Malaysia. Next slide, please. Okay. Firstly, I will talk about history of GMO in Malaysia. Basically, there are many major occurrences that happens during the history of GMO. One of them is Malaysia established Genetic Modification Advisory Committee, or we can call it GMAT, under the Ministry of Science, Technology and the Environment. So, generally, the role of this committee is to handle the overall handling of the GMOs in Malaysia. Like it's stated here, it draft, monitor, and implement the guideline regarding the release of GMOs into the environment. It also do the identification and safety management of risks associated with the use of GMOs and products containing GMOs. And lastly, it also handle the inquiries, proposal, and approvals regarding the use, release, and introduction of GMOs. Next slide, please. Okay, the next occurrence is Malaysia have been available. The next occurrence that transgenic soybean been available in Malaysia. This is because the GMAT approved its importation in 1997. However, there are some consumers that demand to ban the transgenic soybean of its imports. However, there are some consumers that demand to ban the importation of these transgenic soybeans. However, the committee reject this demand until its finding to the contrary are made with regards to safety to the humans. The next occurrence is grant SIM by mostly for research and development. This SIM provide incentives for R&D in science and technology. It is to encourage more innovative in using and adapting existing technology among Malaysian companies to bring Malaysia to a more modern countries. So lastly, Malaysia's law on GMO, which is under Biosafety Act, under the Act of number 678. Okay. This law established to ban all applications for direct release of living modified organisms, or we call it LMOs, into the environment. On the side note, GMO and LMO terms can be used interchangeably. This is to ensure the particular LMO safety to human health and also environment. Next slide, please. Okay. Now I will explain about the major findings and controversies in Malaysia. The major findings is by 2015, Malaysia approved the GM soybean and corn crop for feeds, food, and also processing purpose. However, there are some controversies that occurs around these GMOs. Firstly, consumers associating of Penang urged to outright ban on GMOs in 2015. They claim that GMOs products have a multitude of risks including health, environmental, social, ethical, and also cultural concerns. The other controversy is people concerned on the risk of GMO in food. They say that GMO may affect the environment or the consumer. This is because the GMO is actually been modified by the genes, so they afraid that there is a possibility that it have negative impact on human health because they afraid that there is a possibility that it have negative impact on human health. Okay, that's all from me. I proceed to next slide.
Okay, thank you, Kami, for passing me the presentation. So, my name is Muhammad Afif Roslan, and my student ID is U21033330. So, I'm going to present about GMO's contribution in Malaysia's socio-economic. Okay, for now we are going to talk about how GMO helps in Malaysia's socio-economy. For the first at all, so tropical climate along massive biodiversity contribute to the country economy, which is Malaysia have nice and suitable tropical climate, which is can make the GMO live easily at Malaysia. So there are 8 genetically modification like maize or corn products and seed soybean products in 2007. So the demand for GMO from Malaysia is increasing, causing socio-economic stability. And the second one is locals highly depend on local food supply, which mean Malaysia people are very highly depend to the local food supply. So that's why Malaysia need to produce more GMO so that the Malaysian people can have a lot of resource. So more GMO supply, so it can give more profit to the country. And as one is GMO plants have a sustainable development, which is mean it can be the food security for our country, for Malaysian country. So the first one is resistant to disease, which is mean GMO plants, GMO resource can avoid us for getting any disease, any bad disease. So because it have a very nice quality and good quality that we can use, Malaysian people can use it easily as a daily. Okay, so next one is the can withstand the ecosystem disruption, which is such as drought, climate change. As you know, as we know, there are around the world are now having a very bad drought and climate change. So luckily Malaysia have a very nice weather because of these GMO plants, and this is one of the factor of Malaysia have a very nice weather. And the last one is sustainable off-basic product in good supply, such as palm oil and rubber, which is means because of this food security, so we can produce more and sustain the basic product because of this food security. Let's move on to the Ayman.
Thank you, Afif. Okay, I will introduce myself. My name is Aiman Hafizi bin Rizwan with metric number U20018898. So I will present about the challenge in GMO plants. So the challenge on genetic modification plants and ethical issues. There are 5 points. Policy from government, local barely aware about genetically modified organism in their food. People believe that genetic modification foods aren't safe. Belief and religion, and the last one is informed consent. So for the first one, policy from government, the government has set guidelines on the safety of food from GMOs so that it is safe for the people to consume. Scientists must undergo various stages of safety on food that is modified to ensure the safety of consumers and environment. Scientists cannot produce GMO food easily because the government want to make sure the food is safe for people to consume. For the second one is local barely aware about GMO in their food. People don't know about foods that they have consumed are the result of GMO foods. For example, tomatoes which are sweet and tolerant to disease. Many people do not know what GMO foods are and what are the benefits and advantages of these foods and their daily life. For the third one is people believe that GMO food aren't safe. People assume that the GMO foods contain toxic substances that can be harmful to health and even cause allergies. Many people worry about GMO foods because it may be that the food is mixed with toxic substances that can be harmful to them, to health. And the next, belief and religion. Some people have the belief that modifying God's creation is a sinful thing. Yes, modifying God's creation can cause yourself to be punished for grievous wrongdoing. And the last one is informed consent. All information can be stored for the use of future study, but maybe the data is not enough or complete to be used for further in the future. So there will be a risk for the future studies caused by the lack of data and information. So I will pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiman. Assalamualaikum and good day, everyone. My name is Muhammad Iqbal Hakimi bin Hassan, metric number U21032886. And today I will continue to this presentation with the recommendation and future of genetic modified plants in Asia. The first recommendation that I suggest is to make any investment. Government or any research company in Malaysia can invest more in GM plants research so that we can produce better crops than other countries. As we know, normal crop face many problems to grow. Therefore, we look into the GM plants to produce better and faster crops. Here are a few research that we can focus on. Next slide. Firstly is herbicide-tolerant transgenic crops that can tolerate herbicides that used to kill weeds that are bad for the crop because the weed compete with the crop plant for nutrients, water, sunlight, and spaces. And second one is insect resistance transgenic crops because insect pests and diseases cause severe crop loss throughout the years. The insect damage the crop by sucking their saps and chewing the plant's part like the leaf, stems, roots, and so on. Therefore, I believe the insect resistance transgenic crops are a must. The third one is a biotic stress tolerant transgenic crops. There are a plethora of environment factors referred as biotic stresses, such as drought, heat, cold, flooding, salinity, and etc. Exert a negative impact on the growth and development of the crop plants, leading to a reduction in crop yield. With the ever-changing climate condition, the impact of these biotic stresses is believed to be increasing. Therefore, a breakthrough in this field will help crop plants to grow without any problems. Next is disease resistance transgenic crop. Disease caused by pathogens such as nematodes, fungi, bacteria, viruses cause extensive loss in crop yield. Plant disease are often managed through agrochemicals, but the environment hazard caused by the use of agrochemicals cause the other part to cause uh, cause because we have to find another alternative to tackle the plant disease, because there are possibility of development of the chemical resistant pests due to the use of agrochemicals. So to overcome this challenge posed by the plant pathogen, it is important to develop inherent disease resistant in crop plants. And lastly is nutritionally improved transgenic crops. This is what most people look in genetic modified plants, how nutritionally it was compared to normal crops. There are already genetic modified plant crop that can offer better nutritionally value than the normal crops, but we can do more research in this area so that the crops can offer better and healthy crops without any side effect to the consumers. So an investment in this crop research so that Malaysia can create those transgenic crops, not only beneficial to the consumers, but also to the government as well, because it can increase the production of the crop and save further unnecessary costs because of the problem that had been solved by the modifying the plant gene. Next. However, in case that we cannot achieve a satisfactory result, we can also invest and make collaboration with another developed country that also currently make research in this plant gene modification. So by collaborating, maybe we can make a new discovery and a breakthrough and share the result together. And my second point is to increase awareness within the civilian. We can enhance on mass media coverage so that people aware of GMOs and its benefits. We can see from the problem and challenges state from previous slide that we face many problems from locals that believe that GMO plants are bad for them. Therefore, by spreading the benefit and what it can offer to the consumers and also to the Malaysia as a whole, maybe the citizen may change their mind and start support genetic modified plants. And that's all from me. I give back presentation to Ikwan.
So thank you, Ikil, for his presentations. So right now we are move on to the last section, which is the conclusions. So production of GMO seem to benefit human in many aspects of life. As explained in the past section, we found that GMO really contribute to help us to sustain the supply chain of our necessity and the food supply, as they have been genetically modified against our ever-changing world. As we are currently facing, we have extensive climate change and declining food security. So Malaysia, as it's situated in the tropical region, so it given us a large in biodiversity. So GMO may open a new opportunity for the nation, to gain more in capital economic gain. So well, GMO miss some there may be some issue regarding to the safety and ethics regarding GMOs. So thus the government should enforce a stronger policy and regarding the governing of GMO. So a further study also should be done to improve this matter by uh, giving the grant scheme and extensive research and development and addressing the challenges of the food security and declining resources as we are currently facing. So that's all from our group. Thank you.